Welcome back. You're still watching the Nile article, and to be shedding more light on the economic aspects of the Palestinian suffering and the Palestinian resistance against the occupation forces in the Gaza Strip, more specifically, and the efforts of reconstruction and the efforts of Egypt to be alleviating the suffering of the Palestinians. And as we did see for the past segment, the continuation of the Zaid al-Izz initiative from Egypt to Gaza, the 260th convoy, the humanitarian aid reaching the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. We'll be shedding more light on the efforts of reconstruction for the future for the Palestinians in general and for the Gaza Strip in specific, as well as the efforts of Egypt in general under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to be keeping the unity and the peace and the security and the stability, as well as the territorial integrity of the rest of the Arab world. And to be shedding more light on those important topics, I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Mohamed Al-Husseini, the General Consultant to the United Nations General Assembly. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine. But first of all, we'll be having a report about the efforts of reconstruction in the Gaza Strip and the role of Egypt within all of that. So stay tuned.
Gaza's reconstruction is emerging as one of the most formidable international challenges to follow any durable cessation of hostilities. The issue is no longer simply how to stop the fighting. It is how to transform a ceasefire into functioning institutions, restored infrastructure, and an economy capable of supporting millions of Palestinians. The roadmap for the second phase of the Gaza Agreement envisages several interconnected steps: the establishment of a Palestinian National Committee to administer the Strip, completion of Israeli withdrawal, international stabilization arrangements, weapons management, and the launch of reconstruction. The plan also places emphasis on restoring normal life and creating the conditions for a credible political process leading towards Palestinian self-determination and statehood. Implementation remains the central challenge. Egypt has repeatedly stressed that humanitarian assistance must enter Gaza without obstruction and that the Israeli withdrawal is essential to allowing early recovery and reconstruction to begin. Cairo has also emphasized that the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza must be able to operate from within the Strip, and the Palestinian territorial unity must be preserved. The proposed international stabilization force is another important element. According to the Gaza Peace Council, the force is expected to support stability, expand humanitarian services, and facilitate reconstruction while contributing to arrangements for disarmament and the eventual transfer of Gaza's administration to a Palestinian transitional authority. For the United Nations and the wider international community, this creates a complex institutional task. Reconstruction requires more than money. It requires security, governance, transparent mechanisms for allocating funds, reliable institutions, international oversight, and coordination among donors and implementing agencies. It also requires a political horizon. Egypt has consistently linked Gaza's reconstruction with the preservation of Palestinian rights and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state along the 1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. Cairo's position is that the reconstruction cannot become a substitute for a political settlement. The coming phase will therefore test whether international diplomacy can move from decorations to implementation. The real measure of success will not simply be how much infrastructure is rebuilt. It will be whether Gaza can regain foundations of a functioning society and economy while remaining part of a broader Palestinian political and territorial framework.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Nile article, and as I mentioned, I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Mohamed Al-Husseini. Dr. Mohamed, thank you very much once again for being with us tonight.
My pleasure, Mr. Thank you.
We will be speaking about the reconstruction efforts for the Gaza Strip, and there is a coordinated assistance by the international organizations, by the international institutions, including the United Nations,
of course,
which is somewhere that you are working with and you are cooperating with the United Nations General Assembly. This coordinated effort How do you see it for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip? How do you see the role of Egypt within all of that?
I can see that since October 7, we are talking about the last 3 years as all in one region was suffering because what Hamas have done and what the Israeli government have did was exceeding all the humanitarian laws of our planet, of killing over than 120,000 persons, and what happened in demolishing a whole territory called the Gaza Strip. So when it started, if you wanted to put the point of view, who is the countries have stand from day one up to now and up to the end? Egypt, number one. Egypt never closed its borders to Palestine. Egypt never stopped fighting for the rights to the Gaza people and the Palestinian case. Egypt have carried a lot of, let's say that, a negative reports worldwide that they were saying that Egypt was closing its borders, Egypt was is not volunteering or taking its role of supporting the Palestinian people, Egypt is letting the Palestinian case, and so on. That was a lot of accusation have been done towards us when it started in the first year. And then in the second and the third year, who ended the war? Egypt. So if you wanted to take it, answering your question, the role of Egypt, Egypt was the only reason and the only country who bring it all together and bought the peace agreement. Without this peace agreement, there is nothing to talk about with the Israeli government. And that's why you bring President Donald Trump here to Egypt.
Yes.
When you make the peace conference and you bring the rest of the leaders of the world, and you told them that we need to stop what it's happening. And President Donald Trump, when he come here, he's the American president, so he is the most powerful man in the earth, and he is the only one the Israeli government will, I will not say obey, but I will say listen, because they don't listen to anyone. They don't respect our rules in the United Nations. They don't care about the National Security Council, what we will say. There is nothing called international law to the Israeli government. But when it's come from the American administration, this is where they will listen. When he come, and then when we signed the peace agreement, there was phases of this agreement. Phase number one, let's say 70% of this phase have been done.
Yes.
And then reaching now phase number two, as we see that Kushner was here before 2 days ago, and then he went to the Israeli Prime Minister. And when he was here, we bring a Hamas representative, and we sit with them, and we talk. And Hamas representative was so open in this negotiation for the first time that they said that we will leave our weapons.
Yes.
We will not be a military a movement against Israel in the future, but we need to have a promises from the United States of America, number one, that Israel will not attack us anymore. We need an institution to represent the authority of the Palestinian in Gaza, and this administration who will rule Gaza coming in a lot of different categories. And here when the Kushner go to Israel and he talk about that Hamas already agreed, and if you remember before, Hamas was not agreeing of letting them weapon or delivering it or sitting as an organization without weapons.
Yes.
But they already agreed. Who is not agreeing now? Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu now, he is the one is disagreeing. Why? Because if he agree, we will reach phase two. Phase two meaning what? Meaning there is no war. It's finished. So he is going to the election. Then his people now will ask him, why in the first place did you make this war? Why from the first place that you didn't end it in the first 1 or 2 months after you killed all of them, after you killed the leader of Hamas? So here will be the critical situation. But returning back to your question, which is the part of the reconstruction, it's not the building, it's not the infrastructure, it's not to give the people of Palestine that a reason to leave. No. Reconstruction is what is Egypt is doing right now with the United Nations. Because most of the nations and most of the countries have stepped out of the case. And we are, let's say, we and some of our Arab brothers who is coordinating to solve this, and some of the international friends as well, which is limit number of countries now, they care about Gaza. But the rest, they care about themselves. Why? Israeli government, they did a smart Zionism evil movement when they made all the countries in this region carry their own problems. In Iraq, they have their own problems. In the GCC, they have now the war between America and Iran. And Syria, they have a lot of problems with Turkey, with Israel itself, and the divisions inside the country. Lebanon, and taking the south and the situation they have. So there is no country now standing.
Except for Egypt.
Except Egypt.
But it is also having, Egypt is trying to be having this counter plan, countering chaos, countering division, as you mentioned. How do you see those efforts under the tenure of President al-Sisi for the past 10 years?
I can see that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the administration of Egypt from day one, they are doing the effort with no, they are not tired of giving and giving and giving to Palestinian case. And now reuniting to union and to make them unite again with the Palestinian parties. This is always the problem. The Palestinian parties itself, when it's come to Fatah and Hamas and the administration there, they are not coming together, because if they come together, they will be okay. But the problem to them that since President Sadat, we was talking about, you guys need to unite. If you guys unite, you have a one government, one stable administration, and then you can rule the place, which is the whole Palestine. But now what we are doing is we are trying to solve this situation. We have succeeded in the steps as in Egypt, and then now opening or pushing. The only country is pushing phase 2 is Egypt. Why? Because you are the one who made this agreement have come to the light.
Yes.
Right. Now when we come to the stage of reconstruction, the first thing that the United Nations that we work in, and we support this, and we cooperate with the Egypt administration, when we say the first stage, when you want to make the reconstruction of Gaza Strip, you need to put an administration, national administration. And we need an international troops and international units. These international units, we can say that they are from the UN troops, from other countries, will volunteer, and they will cooperate together to put the safe and security in Gaza. Because now, if you remember that 1 week ago, they just killed the Gaza police, the head of police department, the Israeli, and they killed him. So how you want there will be safe and security in Gaza, and you are killing the police director? So one of the things is to put the peace and to put the security in the roads of Gaza and the streets of Gaza. You need to have first an administration. This administration, as Hamas asked, they need a Palestinian national administration. They will take all the files of the economy, of the political, of the security, of the sustainability, of the humanitarian, everything of Gaza. This administration will be who is responsible when you talk to the international community.
Yes.
So now you are in the stage of connecting them together and see who will be the administration. Once you have the administration, then you will go in step 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
Yes, Dr. Mohamed, please allow me to be going to the last and the final report of the Nile article for tonight, focusing on the economics of recovery, the economics of reconstruction. As Dr. Mohamed Hamza al-Husseini stated, that the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip is not just about the infrastructure, it's not just about the homes and the roads and the bridges, but how about the Palestinians moving from the dependence on the humanitarian assistance to sustainable growth for the future. Those are parts of the economics of recovery for the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, and we'll be having more details in the upcoming reports, so stay tuned.
Rebuilding Gaza will require a fundamental economic transformation. The reconstruction has affected housing, healthcare, education, water systems, transport, energy, agriculture, and private businesses. The challenge, therefore, extends beyond replacing damaged structures. It involves restoring the productive foundations of an economy that can create employment, deliver essential services, and reduce dependence on emergency assistance. This is where the international economic dimension becomes critical. A successful reconstruction program would need to bring together public financing, international assistance, private sector participation, and mechanisms capable of directing investment toward productive activities. The roadmap for Gaza's next phase explicitly links the cessation process to early recovery and reconstruction, while seeking to establish arrangements for Palestinian administration and international stabilization. Egypt has consistently argued that reconstruction must allow Palestinians to remain on their land and regain the conditions necessary for a dignified life. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has repeatedly emphasized the need for international support for Gaza's reconstruction, while Egyptian diplomacy has continued working to create the conditions for early recovery. For international institutions, the challenge will be to ensure that reconstruction funding does more than repair physical damage. It must help restore economic capacity. That means rebuilding schools so that human capital can recover, restoring hospitals so that the workforce can regain access to health care, rehabilitating water and energy networks, reviving agriculture and local production, and creating conditions in which businesses can reopen and new investments can emerge. The international community will also face a question of sequencing. Security and governance are needed to make investment possible. Infrastructure is needed to restore economic activity. Economic recovery is needed to strengthen social stability, while political legitimacy is needed to sustain the entire process. This makes Gaza a multidimensional reconstruction challenge rather than a conventional post-war rebuilding program. Egypt's position gives Cairo a particularly important role. Its proximity to Gaza, long-standing involvement in the Palestinian issue, and central position within regional diplomacy enable it to contribute to the transition from emergency response towards recovery. The ultimate objective should be an economy capable of functioning independently rather than permanently relying on humanitarian assistance. That is why Gaza's reconstruction is not simply an economic undertaking. It is an investment in stability, institutional resilience, and the prospects for a durable political settlement.
You're still watching the Nile article, and I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Mohamed Hamza Al-Husseini, the General Consultant to the United Nations General Assembly. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. We're speaking about the administration of the Gaza Strip, the governing of the Gaza Strip, especially in terms of keeping peace and security within the enclave. How do you see the future steps regarding those two topics?
Actually, when we talk about future, I pray and I wish the future will come without Benjamin Netanyahu. This person, he have right all the means of evils and disrespect of the humanity. So now you are giving effort. Egypt, Red Crescent, Egypt government, Egypt businessmen, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Algeria, Tunisia, those countries, Jordan, those countries from day one, they keep sending aids to our brothers and sisters in Gaza.
Yes.
Those children have lost their parents. A lot of people have lost their families, and this person, he have killed them all. Europe people now, they feel that Israel is a disgrace. American people, they don't want to see this killing, because all of us, we are looking for peace. So finding this person again in this administration, I can see the future will have hums. Situation will not be going in what we are all hoping. So if you say to me that we have two options. Option number one, this person is still in the chair as the Prime Minister of Israel. What will happen is he will find the reasons to re-attack the Palestinian people, to make anything, that there will be a bombing, there will be a killing, there will be anything.
Or to wage any war, even against Iran.
Because his strategy is attack. His strategy is not, he is not a peacemaker, he is a war maker. So this option, if this man have continued to be the Prime Minister, I cannot see any future of Gaza. But if this man leave, and other person will come with a mindset that he a longing to give to the Israeli people a peace. Our president have said in one forum that we want peace to all, to the Israeli and to the Palestinian. We want to live in a region, we are fed up as the people of seeing the Israeli manipulating the whole system of the Middle East, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iraq, fighting Iran, putting the GCC countries in a disaster which called the Israeli-American-Iranian war, and they are bombing them back and killing the Palestinian people, and then putting them fingers down in the south of Egypt and Ethiopia. And this whole plan that they are doing is not succeeding with us. What we want to see that the Gaza Strip will have a life back. Now what you are doing here at the future, Egypt, what Egypt is doing, Egypt already sent its infrastructure companies. We already make a restructure to the routes. We already removed the demolishes that have been done. All this to give just routes so the construction companies can go inside and build houses for those people who is living in a tenants, which is not healthy. There is no health care system.
Yes.
There is now a months is coming, education year is coming, and the kids there, they don't have anything. So what is now Egypt is volunteering is building a whole system with the United Nations and the cooperative countries, putting a new health care by small clinics. I will not say a big large, but I will say a small large of numbers of schools, institutes, to give education to the kids over there and to the students in Gaza, trying to make complexes, housing, but not, of course, not in the whole land. We are talking about the development now at the stage of 15%. Once we reach there, and the irrigation system, that they will need to give them something to do, which is agriculture, so they will gonna to have their own foods. They will not leave for the AIDS for the next year. They cannot, because there is already a lot of diseases have been done there. When you talk about the healthcare system, that we see it as the UN, we say this is a crisis area. It's a need an urgent health aid there. There is a lot of things have been missed because they demolished the whole strip. There is nothing there to live for. So what you are cooperating now, building this and supporting with your companies for the infrastructure, we need more cooperation from the international community. United Nations cannot work alone in this, and Egypt cannot work alone in this. Before, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, when they attack Gaza or they attack any place, the whole world will come. The Arab nations will come, the European nations will come, they will support, they will put the money, they will put the effort to return back these people to live again. All the Palestinian lives have been killed, they didn't do anything, and we are against what Hamas have been done. The international community, the international law is against what they have done. And we see that a person, he didn't respect the right of the people to live in peace. So what you are doing now in the near future, Egypt is playing a role of building Gaza Strip again. And Egypt's percentage of cooperation is 35% to reach 40% of this. United Nations is reaching 20%, and the observation is 100% from the UN for the sustainable and the peace and security in the Gaza Strip, and supporting also the National Administration of Palestine. The remaining is 40%. This 40% we need a cooperation and a support from the international community in the Arab countries, European countries, China, Russia, USA, we need them, Canada, we need them to support, so we will give this land a message that they can live again.
Yes, Dr. Mohamed Hamza Al-Husseini, you've raised a very important point, which is the future of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yes.
How do you see it regarding the pending elections in Israel?
I see that the Israeli community is divided. When you see the Israeli people and how they are looking to this election, and as you see that Benjamin Netanyahu and his 3-4 ministers, which is the same ideology of him against whatever humanitarian, and they see that they are the chosen people in earth. This is them belief. They are against the stability. They are against the standards. But I can see that the Israeli people, and I can see that the last, because I have seen there is a survey have been done, that there is a 63% of the Israeli people, they are against him. Why? Because was the second time since 1973.
Yes.
After the Egypt, the glory Egypt war, that Israel have lost all of these soldiers and people, and he didn't do anything. He just killed others. He didn't give them peace and security, and then he opened other gate of Iran. So they find themselves as the Israeli people that this person, he cannot give them peace and security. He is giving them wars and wars and wars. So they live the last 3 years. They live as an Israeli, as a humans. They live in a very, very critical time. But there is a 35 to 40% of this community is supporting him. So I can see that the election, this coming election in Israel, it will look like a storm election. There will be a lot of fight and fight back, but I cannot see Benjamin Netanyahu in the chair anymore.
So things will change?
Of course.
On the other hand, in terms of the recovery and the reconstruction, because you mentioned that the reconstruction is not just about the roads and the bridges and the homes and the houses, but we need to be having recovery for the Palestinians themselves. Not just to be depending on the humanitarian assistance, but to be having sustainable economic growth for the Palestinian communities. What is the role of Egypt and the international institutions such as the United Nations in such a thing?
I can see that Egypt and the UN now, as I have mentioned, that they have did a lot of effort and support for reconstructing the whole system of Gaza Strip. But what I can see that it can be happen after they both the country in a new administration, national Palestinian administration, which someone you can talk when you talked about to the Palestinian people in Gaza, and Hamas need to step back for a while. They can put 1 or 2 representatives, but they need to put Fatah is there and the Palestinian Authority to be there. They need to put a technocrat people represent all the sectors of the community of Palestine in Gaza Strip. If we find this people is there, that you can talk to a representative of the people of Gaza, and Egypt now, I think there will be a movement of look like an investment forum. Because Gaza, if the funds come, so there is a lot of potential opportunities when it's come to the economy of Gaza. Gaza Strip, it's having look like a 15 kilometer in the sea. There is look like a gas exploration. It's not yet done. So if you have the system, if you have the security, if you have the stability, there is an opportunities of investment. It can be done, but it's need. I will return it back, a national administration of the Palestinian people, scaling the opportunities, seeking investment, and seeking not just aid opportunities.
Yes, Dr. Mohamed Hamza Al-Husseini, the General Consultant to the United Nations General Assembly. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And this brings us to the end of Nile article for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.